Game Theory Class 5 Video 5. In this video we're going to talk about another famous game. This game is called Cold War. Let's begin. So the example is this. There are two countries. I'll just call them Country 1 and Country 2. And they both have access to huge nuclear arsenal. Okay, so they have lots and lots of nuclear weapons. And they each have a choice. They can be peaceful or they can be aggressive. Okay? If one country is peaceful but the other country is aggressive, the aggressive country will invade and steal some resources. Okay? If both countries are peaceful, then neither country invades either of the other one, and they stay exactly the same. So no one gains any resources, but no one loses any resources. If they're both aggressive, then there's escalation and it leads to nuclear war and it destroys the entire Earth. Well, no, okay, it destroys all life on Earth. The Earth is still there. But all human life is gone, okay? So these are the outcomes for the different choices they make. And if we turn this into a payoff matrix, Country 2, Country 1, and I'll just denote the choices by war and peace, war and peace. So if they're both peaceful, nobody gains anything, nobody loses anything. So it's a 0-0. If Country 1 is peaceful, but Country 2 is aggressive, they choose war, then Country 2 is going to gain some resources, and Country 1 is going to lose some resources. And symmetrically, if Country 1 is aggressive and Country 2 is peaceful, Country 1 gains some resources, and Country 2 loses them. Okay, like annexing a part of Country 2. But if they're both aggressive, then that leads to nuclear escalation, which leads to a nuclear apocalypse. And I will represent that just by minus 999, minus 999. Okay? If you want, depending on how much you value the human race, you could represent this by minus infinity, minus infinity. Okay? The point is, it's a very undesirable outcome. That's what this is. A very undesirable outcome. And this is called the Cold War game. Okay. It's sort of a somewhat depressing game, because if you try and analyze it and you think about what the best thing to do is, you start thinking in a very selfish manner, and it leads to some bad consequences. Like, let's say by default both countries are peaceful, so you start out down here. But then maybe Country 1 starts thinking, well, hold on, I can invade. I can go from being peaceful to being aggressive, and then I have the option of gaining 10 resources. That's pretty nice. I might do that. But Country 2 is also thinking, hold on, I might invade. I have the option of going from 0 to 10 and gaining some resources. Okay? So the best response, if we want to talk about this in terms of best responses, the best response for Country 1, if Country 2 is peaceful, is for Country 1 to declare war. And the best response for Country 2, if Country 1 is peaceful, is for Country 2 to declare war. But the issue is, if they both declare war, you end up in this situation here, where everyone dies. Okay? But mathematically, that's what the best responses say. Okay? This is it's a complex game to analyze. It's another game where it benefits a player, a country, by committing to a strategy, by committing to war. By that I mean, imagine if Country 1 just committed to declaring war. So Country 1 has decided they are going to declare war. then country 2 has a choice between being peaceful and allowing itself to get annexed, losing some resources, or also declaring war and escalating the war. But if you look at the payoffs, peaceful is the better option. You're comparing losing 10 to losing almost 1,000. So if country 1 commits to being an aggressive country, the best thing for country 2 to do is to be peaceful. But this is obviously not very good a defense strategy for a country. You don't want to leave yourself open for invasion all the time. We'll talk about this game and we'll analyze it further in future videos. But that's the end of this video.